this class today, we will focus on basic economic problems of society. Basic economic problems of society. What does this mean? But before I tell you what this means, what are the objectives we will look at in this class? Things you are supposed to learn. And then remember, one of them is we'll talk about what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, efficiency of resources used. These are basic economic problems that face a society. Now, when we talk about basic economic problem, we are just looking at what are those things that can help us produce goods and services to meet the needs and tastes of customers. What are those things we'll look at to help us know how to get resources to meet the need of the customers? Or what are those things required to meet the taste of the customer at a particular given time? So basic economic problems has to do with how production can get to the final consumer and satisfy them the way it ought to. And so the producer, the manufacturer, those in business are faced with a number of situations. How are we going to produce this product? Whom are we going to produce to? What are the resources that we need to produce these goods? How can we meet the taste of our customers? That is just a basic economic problem. And so when you hear the word economic problem, basic economic problem in a society, know that they are just referring to those things that manufacturer, producers face, those who create goods and services, those things they face in order to make the goods efficiently, effectively, to meet the taste of buyers or consumers. Remember in our previous class, when we discussed the channels of distribution, products are said not to be complete if it didn't get to final consumers. But if final consumers have your product, that means production have completed. So let's go to the class by looking at the objective of what to produce. What to produce. Now let's take the first objective, what to produce. Remember that human wants and tastes changes over time, and human needs are insatiable. And so you want to use the available resources to produce what you think will meet the taste and need of the people at that particular time. And so as I'm explaining this, I'm going to use about 6 factors of what can cause a problem in determining this. And then this factor will help you to come at the right conclusion. Remember, these are questions, what to produce. And so since human needs changes and human needs are insatiable, what can you give to your consumer at a particular point in time to be able to meet their need and taste? What to produce? What is it that can meet their taste? And in considering it, you use this factor to evaluate it. What are consumers' needs? What do the consumer need at that particular time? Then when you are able to find out what they need, then you know the product to create. Then market demand. Other competitors in the market, other similar goods that look like what you want to go into. What is the demand for that product? Because if the demand is low and your production is high, you are going to go at a loss. Because the demand for that product will not be commensurate to what you have produced. And what is it? How many will you produce to break even and be able to stay in business? Because every business is done to make profits. Now, after you have evaluated the market demand and see that the market demand is commensurate, then you go further to make other decisions. Consumer income. What product will I produce in order to meet the income needs of the people? People who earn more, buy more. People who earn low, buy low. So if the income bracket you want to produce for are those who are high income earners, they are going to buy from you. But if they are low income earner and the product is costly, economically it is not favorable for them, they are not going to buy. So you look at the income range of individuals. Then another thing you will look at to evaluate this what to produce is cost of production. What will it cost to produce a unit of that product? You want to produce biscuits. What will be the cost to produce a packet? If the cost of production is going to be high and you're not going to make profit, then you have to retain. But if after you have seen the per unit production and you see that it is efficient, you will make profit, then you can further. Then the next one is availability of resources. Source of raw materials is very important. Because if you don't have regular supply of these products, of these goods, of these raw materials, you will go out of business because of lack of raw materials. But if there is handy-made raw materials available in your locality that you can source for and make this production, then you can go into production because you will always see raw materials. And then finally, on this what to produce, the factors you have to consider is type of economy. We have different type of economy. We have the socialist economy, the capitalist economy, the mixed economy, and the rest of them. Now, if it is in a capitalist economy, know that price system will control the market. But if it is in a socialist economy, know that the state controls the economy. So you will know what to do at this point in time. Now, we are going to go to our second objective, which is how to produce. We have seen what to produce, how you have to evaluate matters to know what to produce. Now, the next one is how to produce. Okay. Now, we have established the fact of what to produce by considering those other factors. Now, the next problem that faces us is how to produce. We know what to produce. How are we going to go about this production process? What will be required of us to do in order to meet the need of our decision we have made in one above? Because we have identified what to produce. Now, how are we going to go over the process? A number of factors will help us to go over this process. What are the factors? One, technique of production. What are the technique of production we want to employ? Under this, we want to talk about the labor technique or the capital technique. Under the labor technique, you want to see the labor technique. We want to see, am I going to employ manual labor, humans to come work for us? Or am I going to employ machines, which will be more cost efficient for us, which will be more productive and profitable? Now, this is another process that comes in. When you weigh both the capital technique and the labor technique, you will know whether to use human labor or to use machine labor. Then you know what to go for. If it is machine labor, now you will go into buying machines that will help you in production process. Now, another factor you will consider under how to produce is technological advancement. What is the technological know-how that will help us to produce more? If you use labor-intensive or labor technique to produce, how many will you produce to meet the market demand? If what labor can produce is low and what capital can produce, which is advanced technology, the machines that will come into, will make you produce more and the per unit cost will be lower, then you will go for technology. And so when you get this advanced technology to produce, you are going to get those who are going to operate these machines that are technologically advanced in order to meet your demand for production, to meet the quantity that the consumers require. That's another thing you're going to consider. And so you put this into account. Then another thing is production function. Production function has to do with what is the quantity per unit that will make us profit. And so here you become more analytical. Per unit cost relative to what the market is selling and to what we are going to produce, what is the profitability that we're going to get as return on investment or return on per unit of our production. And when multiplied over the number of production that is required in the market, are we going to break even? Are we going to make profit? Are we going to stay in business? That's another thing. And then relative cost production. When you talk about relative cost production, you remember when we discussed the factors of production, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. How do you put all of this together to come about a good business? What is going to be the labor required, land, labor, capital, entrepreneur? How available is these resources, and how are you going to make use of it to come up with your profitability ratio? So this is what you will consider while thinking of how to produce. We have discussed that. Now we're going to the next one, for whom to produce. After you have dealt with these two, who are those you are going to think about in your production? Now we have established these two facts: what to produce, how to produce it. Now, to whom are we going to produce it, which is the third one? Remember that production process is not complete until it gets to the final consumers. That is when you know you are making profits and when you know that your product is accepted in the market. And so, at this point, you want to look at, for whom am I producing for? Which income bracket will I produce to? How will this product get to them and I stay in business? We're going to use three factors to analyze this, which is one, satisfaction of wants. Which product will I put up to satisfy the needs and wants of these people? Particularly wants. In our business study class, we differentiated between wants and needs. Go over the class. Now, when you know how you can satisfy your customers' wants, that your product meets their wants, what they want to take in, what they want to consume, after you have ascertained the fact that your product can satisfy the wants, that means you have won. You've won the game. And so, this is one thing you want to consider. How do you satisfy them? The next is, what is the level of income of these my customers? Are they high income earners? High income earners buy. They buy more things because the money to buy the products, the goods, or the services is there. The low income earners will want to see how they can manage their small resources to meet the wants of themselves and their family. And so you look at those whom you are producing to. Will what you are producing meet the needs they actually require and their income level? Can they be able to pay for the product? So the higher their income, the higher their buying rate. The lower their income, the lower their buying rate. So look at those who your customer base is and see what you want to produce for them and their income level. And then finally, type of our economy system matters. If it is in a capitalist economy or a mixed economy, the market price determines how you sell your products. Your customer needs determine how many you will produce. But if it is in a socialist economy, there is a quota system by the state. There's a quota system by the state to determine the price, what you are going to produce out there, the quantity that can circulate in the states. So if you are in an economy that operates a mixed economy or a capitalist economy, it is going to be different from an economic system that is a socialist economy. And so the type of economic situation determines. Look at what is obtainable in the economic system. Is it a socialist economy? Is it a capitalist or a mixed economy? These have a factor in determining for whom you are going to produce. And so lastly, let's go to our objective. Efficiency of the resources that you want to use. what is the efficiency of it. That will help you to know how you're going to go about production. Now let's look at the last problems in our efficiency of resources use in our class for today. Now, when we talk about efficiency of the resources use, know that the resources available to produce is relatively not as much as it is to meet all the needs that is required. And so, those in production want to see how they can efficiently manage what is available to create products, to create services. The relatively scarce resources to create efficient, effective products for consumers. How will they manage what is available to create this product? And then, the area of source of raw materials. The raw materials available, how can they combine it with other factors to bring about production process? That is the last one, efficiency of resources use. I'm going to use two factors to explain this. Quality of labor. Quality of labor. Remember, I've talked about the labor and the capital kind of intensive labor, then the manual labor. The quality of labor matters. If you use specialized hands and there is division of labor in the production process, you will achieve more. A process where you use skilled laborer and a process where you use unskilled laborer is not the same. And so you look at those whom you are going to use for production process. Are they going to be skilled laborers for areas that are highly technical? And then unskilled laborers that it requires areas that are less technical. That way you will have efficiency of labor and efficient production. So you know the kind of labor you are going to employ. You look at that area. Then techniques of production. In your techniques of production, you want to see how you combine all factors of production technically to bring about the use or the production process. High intensive labor will be better, that is to use advance in technology, machine and specialized hand to 1. Reduce waste, 2. Save time, 3. Meet the high need of consumers so that you can produce more and be in the market and meet the quantity that the market requires you to produce. But if you use manual, you might not meet that demand quota. So in this case, you want to determine the techniques of production. Am I going to use high intensive technique so that I can meet the demand, produce high? Because the more you produce, the lesser the cost per unit. But the lower you produce, the higher the cost per unit. So you want to analyze this point and see the costs it's going to bring out and how you can be in business and make profits. So today we've been able to cover basic economic problem in the society, what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, efficiency of resources. Please go over this video again and again so that it can be part of you. It is my pleasure being on Plaza Online School today. And as always, I love you because you are my community. Always drop by, always come to this channel. You will see educational stuff that will help you or help your children. So please, continue dropping by. Until I come your way next time. Thank you.